Welcome to Building the Best Luxury Travel Business. My name is April Hutchinson. I'm the editor of TTG Luxury magazine. We're here today at the Jumeirah Carlton Tower in London to speak to some of the leading names in travel about what it takes to position your brand in the luxury marketplace. Hamish McVeigh, Brand Design Manager for British Airways. Ian Scott, Director, UK and Ireland, Dubai Tourism and Commerce Marketing. Fiona Blaskowski, Director of Public Relations and Brand Development, Kironi. Derek Pico, Regional Vice President of Europe and the General Manager at the Jumeirah Carlton Tower. Ian, Dubai's built itself not only physically, but it's had to build a reputation and positioning itself as well. Today, what does brand Dubai really stand for, and how do you move something beyond a physical product to something that creates a feeling within somebody?
Dubai's grown, as you said, very quickly over the last 20 or so years, and I think consistently throughout that period it's been about innovation, about being a dynamic destination, forward thinking, pushing the boundaries. It's a destination that dares to do things that other destinations may not be able to for whatever reason, but also where a lot of people say it can't be done, it's not going to happen, it can't be achieved, and I think Dubai thrives off that kind of challenge actually. So it's constantly pushing the boundaries in terms of both tourism and also investment and business. From specifically a tourism perspective, I think people are going back there because the service levels, the quality, the hotels, but also the restaurants, the dining, the breadth of the experience. A holiday is a big deal, and you spend a lot of money, and I think that Dubai brings so many guarantees when it comes to quality and service that it encourages people to go back.
Derek, it's fair to say that Jumeirah is one of the youngest luxury hotel brands in the world. How's it gone about establishing itself as a brand, and what today does Jumeirah really stand for? And also, having recently announced the arrival of a new brand, Venue, how will Jumeirah go about positioning that?
Well, of course, Jumeirah is a small brand and growing brand. It's not going to be something which is going to be huge like an IHC or a Hilton, Sheraton, but it builds itself on the reputation, quality of the products. That's how it really works, and the experiences that people have within those products. So the brand development is something which is, I suppose, grown from the physical buildings that we have, but the experiences that people have within them is the key issues for us. Now, obviously, we have got various channels in which we're promoting our brand. In particular, we've been very successful with in three areas. I think sports, particularly with Rory McIlroy, and golf has helped us enormously just with the promotion of the name. But we're also looking at sustainability of the brand, and so we support a lot of cultural activities, particularly in Dubai and in the locations that the properties are in. Mm-hmm. But the brand, I suppose, fundamentally Jumeirah builds because of the repeat guests that we get and the fact that that base continues to grow. So I think it's a satisfaction, and it's a feeling very much of having a quality product that will take time for people to know and experience, but once they have it, they'll always use it. It's a bit like having a suit at Savile Row. You don't need to advertise the fact that where your suit comes from because you wear it that way.
Hamish, you've been instrumental in rolling out First Class, the new product for British Airways. Can you tell us a little bit how you go about understanding your customers firstly, and then delivering something which reflects what you believe they need or what they tell you that they would like from the service? And how important has it been to work with other companies who reflect your philosophies and your principles? And where do you start with all that?
Well, the starting point is very much with the customer. So we spend a lot of time speaking to customers, keeping up with what their specific needs are. And in the last few years, we've done a lot of research with first-class customers around the world. And even though they are thinking about the plane, there are a smaller amount of people on the plane relative to the rest of the plane. There are some still quite broad differences between certain groups of customers who are flying within first. So it's really important for us to understand what are the different needs of those people. They're not all, you can't categorise them as one customer. So we've really had to think about how we develop an experience that, first of all, works globally. It can, secondly, deliver against the needs of some of these different clusters of customers. And thirdly, we've had to make sure that it's something that really competes. The first market is a very competitive market. There's been a lot of activity in the last few years. So this has really been an opportunity for us to develop an experience that really can help us establish a strong positioning in that first marketplace.
So let's talk about what constitutes a brand. I mean, what are the elements of it? Is it people, image, reputation, product? How do luxury brands get built today and become leaders in their field? Kuoni is very well established company, it's been around a long time. What do you think represent Kuoni as a brand today, and how has that come to be developed?
Well, I think a brand starts with a story, and usually it starts with a personality, a founding father or a founding mother. If you take Kuoni, it was founded by Alfred Kuoni in 1906 in Zurich, and he started to open travel agencies all across Europe and started a sort of real trend towards people travelling to further flung parts of the world. He was a great explorer himself. Take Chanel, that started with Coco Chanel as a seamstress, and then we know the rest of the story. Zegna, Gucci, they all started with founding fathers or mothers who had a passion and were innovative at the time. So really a brand is quite a potent cocktail mix of unique heritage, personality, expertise, relevance to the market at the time, and of course relevance is always being updated as we move through time, and a sense of belonging and an image to its purchasing base. And that's important because a brand has to connect. It has to be relevant to somebody's life. A brand also has to be definitive and decisive. We don't necessarily need to like a brand. I mean, Marmite actually plays on its you either like it or hate it as a brand message. And so a brand doesn't need to play the game of being relevant to all, because that's not strong marketing. Really, it's about knowing who it is, knowing its identity, and conveying that, and obviously knowing who its target is.
And Hamish, you've obviously gone out there looking for certain brands which reflect what British Airways stands for, and part of your role is presumably keeping British Airways in a certain sort of sphere of branding, partnerships and relationships. So how do you go about doing that, and tell us a little bit about perhaps what British Airways stands for today as a brand?
Okay, well, if I start off with how we look to work with other brands, and we have right the way through all of the different classes of flight that we have, we work with different brands. If we just take New First as an example, which we've recently rolled out, then we've looked at working with brands that will reflect the style and the substance that comes with the first experience you get with British Airways. So, for example, we've worked with Anya Hindmarsh in developing the amenity kit bag. We've worked with companies such as Wren for some of the actual amenity products themselves. So we've also worked with the Dorchester Hotel, who are renowned for afternoon tea. So we've pulled in their expertise to help design our own afternoon tea. So we've really tried to sort of pull on brands that often reflect the best of British, but something that will also complement and enhance the experience that we give to our customers.
And the key to this, everybody says, well, we have 5-star service. It's quite meaningless unless it's world-class service delivered to those brand standards that you've actually made a statement about. So that every time you come back to the place, it comes with the same quality each time. The tea is always, perfectly served. It's absolutely in the right cutlery term, the right brand and blend that you want.
Differentiation, I think, is a key part of brand as well, because you can create values and they must be embedded throughout the entire organisation, especially with frontline staff. But at the end of the day, you also have to have a brand that is that can compete and that can differentiate itself in the marketplace. And sometimes finding that point of difference, can be the biggest challenge. And so you've got to look deep in terms of your product and the benefits that you're delivering, your customer base, the values that you're set, and try and find what is your unique selling point, what is your point of difference. A lot of travel agents watching this, I imagine, on the high street with different shops all doing very similar things. How are they going to stand out from the other shops down the road? And it's about finding that point of difference, which might be the way you deliver your service, the way you present yourself, the way you hire your staff, the way you communicate with customers. That you've got many opportunities to differentiate, and that's critical with brand as well. So if you want repeat business, which we all do, then you need to deliver a consistent service. Your values have to be represented at each touch point with the consumer.
It has to be imaginative and exciting and exhilarating, and it can't just be repetitive.
True, yeah, it can be. I think authenticity is a very valid point. It's got to be genuine.